Hello, and welcome to Say It Naturally. If you've ever felt unsure about your pronunciation or hesitant about using your voice in English, you're in the right place. I'm Jenny. I'm an English pronunciation and neurolanguage coach. And in this podcast, I share insights, reflections, and simple ideas to help you feel more at ease, more confident, and more natural when you speak. And if you're a teacher, I'll also be sharing occasional teacher's notes you can take into your classroom. I'm really glad you're here. Were there any subjects at school that you thought you were really good at or really bad at? Many learners of English believe they are either good or bad at languages. And this is a fixed mindset. What do I mean by fixed mindset? It means that if you believe you're bad at languages, you are unable to learn and develop that skill. You're just got a set level, and that's as good as it's going to get. There are two things I'd like to say about this. One is that I fully believe that every single person has the ability to learn a language. We all communicate, and I think that this is part of being human, learning languages in order to connect with the people around us. The other thing is, if you really truly believe you are bad at languages, you are going to really struggle to make those improvements because your brain is going to look for ways to prove yourself right that you are bad. It's going to look at all the mistakes. It's going to look at um, all the struggles that you've had, and will just show you all the negatives, basically. However, learning any language is a skill that develops over time. It doesn't happen overnight. And this is the same with pronunciation. It is not a talent that some people have and others don't. It's something that we can all learn and develop and practice in order to enhance our skills in speaking clearly and having good articulation. One thing that's really important to remember is that the opposite of a fixed mindset is a growth mindset. And in order to have a growth mindset, we need to believe that we are able to make progress, to develop our skills, and remember that mistakes are part of the learning process. Learning, language learning is messy. It's not a smooth path from A to B. There are going to be days where you feel like you can communicate with anybody, and other days where you feel like you can't get a single word out in the right order. But these days are also part of the process. They show us where the growth is happening because our brain needs to assimilate the new information, the new language, the new pronunciation, and this takes time and repetition and consistency in order to keep that learning going. One way to keep our growth mindset is to focus on curiosity rather than self-judgment. So instead of criticizing, we can ask ourselves, what's happening here? Because this question opens the door to understanding and noticing where we are now and maybe the next step that we want to take. One key thing to remember is that this progress happens gradually, especially if you're an adult who has been speaking English, for example, in a certain way over many years. It's not going to change overnight. You need to rewire your brain in order to make these changes, and that is going to be a process. The one thing that you can be sure of, the one thing you can be sure of is that these small improvements will accumulate over time. And as you can see the progress, you will start to feel more confident, and this will help you believe even more in this idea of a growth mindset that you can develop your skills. And if you're a teacher, here's a short note that you can take straight into your classroom. Learners often think that making mistakes means that they are bad at English. This fixed mindset can hold them back from trying new sounds or sentences or even words. One of the simplest but most powerful things you can do is show that mistakes are a part of learning, not something to be judged. When learners understand that each slip is a sign of growth, they're more likely to take risks, experiment with language, and notice improvements. You can model this yourself by acknowledging your own slips, staying curious, and asking questions like, what's happening here? Or what can we notice? Helping your learners develop a growth mindset in this way creates a safer, more confident learning environment and supports their pronunciation and communication over time. So the key thing to remember is this: mistakes aren't failures, they're stepping stones. And next time we will be exploring how to make pronunciation a natural part of everyday learning, so you can practice consistently without it feeling overwhelming. Thank you for listening today. I hope something in this episode gave you a little more ease or a new way of thinking about your voice. And if you'd like more support with your own pronunciation or confidence, you can find me at excellenceinenglisheducation.com. I work with learners and teachers who want to feel more comfortable and natural in their spoken English. There'll be a new episode of Say It Naturally next week, and I'd love for you to join me again. Until then, take care of yourself and your voice.